It's been a financial thriller with no clear ending. The markets plunge into chaos, then they soar on a single announcement. 1 minute China faces 125% tariffs, the next it has 145%. One day the US is heading towards a recession, the next day predictions suggest only a slump. But beneath all the ups and downs, there's a bigger question that is haunting the global economy. Can the US still be trusted as the world's safe haven? The 90-day pause in tariffs may have calmed the markets, but it seems to have rattled America's most powerful currency of all, trust. Our next report tells you why.
The markets have been on a wild roller coaster for weeks. 1 minute they're plunging, the next they're skyrocketing. And just when everyone thinks the ride is going to end in a crash, a surprise twist happens. Trump hit the brakes on his tariff plan. The news is like a sudden breath of fresh air. Global markets surge again, registering one of their biggest gains since the Second World War. But here's the thing. It wasn't all smooth sailing. Yes, the pause sounded like good news at first, but it doesn't mean the storm is over. You see, Trump's move brought a brief calm. But the reality was that tariffs were still very much a part of the picture. China wasn't even included in this 90-day break, and Washington-Beijing tensions are only getting worse. In fact, the tariffs on Chinese goods has shot up to 125%. So the trade war is not exactly ending anytime soon.
Everything is still very volatile because with Donald Trump, you don't know what to expect, because this is really big uncertainty in the big market. The threat of recession has not faded, and one of the most important indicators is that U.S. interest rates are spiking because people fear that China will unload $1 trillion worth of U.S. Treasury bills.
And here's where the plot thickens. The pause in tariffs gave Wall Street a reason to cheer, but the underlying uncertainties remained. When the tariffs were announced, most economists predicted a recession, but they've backtracked from it now. Goldman Sachs now sees no recession in the near future, but has kept odds of a serious downturn at just under 50%. So they believe the trade tornado has been averted. But as a lot of experts have warned, the US economy is still in a precarious place. Here's the real problem. All this uncertainty, these constant policy flip-flops, and the erratic nature of the Trump administration's approach to trade, it's starting to erode one of the US's most valuable assets, trust. For years, the US has been seen as a safe haven for global investors. When times were tough, people turned to US government bonds and the dollar. They knew the US had the stability and power to weather any storm. But can they say that now? With tariffs being imposed and lifted on a whim, markets swinging wildly in response to every tweet, it's becoming harder and harder to trust the US as a safe bet. Sure, the 90-day tariff pause gave the market some breathing room, but it didn't fix the deeper issue. The US's role in the global economy is uncertain. And in a world that's already full of uncertainties, that's a problem. As investors, businesses, and governments watch how the US handles its trade relationships, the immediate threat of a US recession might have eased. But the broader implications are still unfolding. America is still at a crossroads, and whether it can regain the confidence of investors is still very much up in the air. The next chapter in this story could be just one Trump tweet away.
Greeting you with aloha and namaste.
I love India.
Presence, occupation of a territory by another country pertains to India, what we saw in Kashmir.
How do you see Trump's America?
Yes, the current administration behaves differently from the previous administration.
Are you saying that there are foreign powers who are trying to bring down the current government in Syria?
Exactly.
Plunging, Iran, maybe Russia too.
I
Prime Minister Modi committed to South-South, cooperation.
Not over 50%.
Is Ukraine prepared to pay the price for that peace?
No compromises at the cost of territorial integrity and sovereignty.